Hey guys, so welcome back to my channel. Okay, so today I'm going to be using the rest of the e.l.f. makeup that's in the tote, plus some extra stuff. And I'm going to be using whatever is in this tote. I'm going to leave out because I'm going to talk about it at the end before I take off all my makeup. So I have the e.l.f. Sun Touchable Invisible Sunscreen. This is the blurring sunscreen. So I'm just putting a little bit around my face. So it blurs pores and stuff. Obviously gives that sun protection. So then we'll do this week's rating, which I don't see a lot changing from this week, this week to last week, but we'll see. So I'm gonna I don't have any brows left, so just so I can we're going to be using pressed powder to set everything today. So, good luck with that. Just so I can try and use all my brushes today, or what ones I want to use today. I want to use my Moda Brow Ink Groomer. So my other brow brush needs to be put away. Where's my little mirror? There it is. And we're going to use the e.l.f. Lock On Liner and Brow Cream, which I've already talked about. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take everything out of that one coat really quickly. I'm going to do their eyes a little different today. And so whatever and I'm going to use the angled portion. Like I said, this one's a little creamier. So do it out like that. And a little bit does go a long way. And then I'm going to take this spoolie part. Really make sure these are up. And do the same thing on the other side. Which I've already talked about this week, so it does not need to be left out.
Welcome back to Question of the Day, your daily trivia challenge. Are you ready to boost your knowledge and start your ad-free 7-day trial? No problem. You can subscribe anytime by saying, Alexa, subscribe. The topic is science. It is worth 8 points. Who is credited with inventing the modern vaccine? You can choose from A. Alexander Fleming, B. Louis Pasteur, C. Jonas Salk, or D. Edward Jenner. Close but no cigar. Alexander Fleming, born in 1881, did not invent the first vaccine. He did, however, discover penicillin in 1928, the substance widely regarded as the first broadly effective antibiotic. The correct answer was D. Edward Jenner. Variolation, the process of infecting people with small amounts of smallpox to prevent severe illness, can be traced as far back as 1000
Alright,
BC.
so we got that.
It was Edward Jenner in 1796 who invented the first true vaccine.
So now I'm going to take a little bit of my micellar water and a
In
Q-tip.
1798, Jenner developed the first smallpox vaccine. Thanks to Jenner's discovery, smallpox was eradicated from the globe by 1979, less than 2 centuries later. 18% of our fans got this one right. You have earned a total of 5,600.
So any of
You have played 12 games.
the product that's on the actual eyeball, or right, you know what I mean, eyelid, it's gonna get removed. And maybe a little bit over here. Okay. So now I'm going into the lock on liner and lock it down eyeshadow primer. Jeez Louise, it was so bad. Got that. That's the other thing I hate about the Milani one. Once it dries, it like makes the brush stiff until I clean it. So you got that. Alright. So I am gonna use my this and the shadow stick. But I'm also gonna use my e.l.f. monochromatic stick because it can be used on the eyes, lips, and face. I am going to use this one and this one. That one. Alright, so the one I used for the primer yesterday, I'll use for the lid today. So first, I'm going to take this one. I'm going to go into that cream shade. So all 4 colors are going to be in the crease today. So I do need to be careful. Ooh, I forgot a brush. There it is. So I do need to be careful so it doesn't get too so it doesn't get too dark too fast. You know what I need to start doing? I need to start bringing in like an MP3 player or something, because I do have one somewhere. Crap, I forgot to tell you. So here I just went into that warm tone brown with the same crease brush as before. Okay, so that's done. Now I'm using my blending brush. Then I'm gonna take this crease brush and add that cool tone brown into it. And again, taking my blending brush to blend. Using circular motion to a little bit. Okay. Now I'm taking my blending crease brush, which is like a pencil brush. And putting the darkest brown in the palette. And the actual crease. Very lightly doing it though. Okay. Then taking blending brush again. Okay. So now, like I said, I'm taking my large shader brush that came with this spinny thing and the e.l.f. monochromatic multi-stick in the shade Glistening Peach. It's gonna be so pretty on the eyes. And I'm gonna try it on the eyes. It's just so sheer when you blend it out. Like literally just straight up glitter. Alright, we're gonna try a different way. Going to straight up put this on the eye like that. And blend it that way. Okay, that's what you gotta do. Not very pigmented. Like, this is so sheer once it's blended out. So, it doesn't work on the eyes as well, but it's just so sheer when it's like sheared out. Then I'm going into the e.l.f. No Budge Shadow Stick in Perfect Pearl. Oh, I was going to use a brow gel too. I completely forgot about that. So I'm going to enter the brow lift. Or no, Ashley. I am going to go into the e.l.f. laminating gel. We're not gonna laminate the gel, laminate the brows. We're just gonna make sure we're is something to keep the brows in place. Not doing too much. Okay. All right. Okay, so next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna curl my lashes. Alright. Put that up here. I'm gonna go into the e.l.f. Lash and Roll. I'm gonna do the bottom lashes yet. I want the top lashes to dry first because they're two different colors, so I don't want them mixing. So on the outer portion of the eye, I'm going into the e.l.f. Intense Ink eyeliner in the shade Black is Black. Actually, no, I'm not, because my clothes are done. I'll be right back. So now I'm going into the Intense Ink liner. To do the wing. This definitely does do wings better. Then I'm going into the Expert Liquid Liner in the shade Jet Black to do the rest of the eyeliner. Alright. Now that my top lashes are dry, I'm going into the e.l.f. Volumizing Mascara on the bottom. Alright, and then I'm taking a Q-tip and micellar water again. Cleaning up underneath of the eyes. Okay. So now that the eyes are done, I think I'm gonna go into that one actually. I'm trying here. Alrighty. So, we need that one brush. Alright. Not that one. This one. My putty primer applicator. Alright. First, before anything else, I'm going into the e.l.f. Stay Cool Primer Stick. Which is so cooling on the skin. Like I said, it doesn't have a fragrance, so I actually prefer my primers not to have fragrance. It's going to be hydrating. It's not going to be blurring or anything. It's just a hydrating primer. It feels so good on the skin. I love the feeling of this. It feels so good. Alright. I'm not doing any gripping primers or anything like that today. It's just whatever I have left. Alright. So I think I'm going to use the silicone primers first. I know we're going to use a lot of primers today, but I don't want anything to be forgotten today. So I think first I'm going to let that sit. Got everything picked out now. Perfect. So like I said, I'm going to go into the Blemish Control face primer. I'm just going to put a little tiny dot on my face. I just don't like the horrible silicate acid smell on my face for the primer. That's my only complaint done in the silicone primer, which can actually be very bad for the skin. They can be very smoothing and stuff, but they can be bad for the skin because of that smoothing quality to it. What am I trying to say? Because of the smoothing quality to the primers, to the silicone primers, it can actually clog the pores. That's what I'm trying to say. Clog the pores, which the silicate acid is supposed to help with that. It's still gonna clog the pores, but it's not supposed to cause breakouts because the silicate acid. Which silicate acid you usually use on your pimples and stuff and breakouts. I know there's the other one that's in the spot treatment by Neutrogena. Can't remember what it's called. Yeah, even the Velvet Finish one has silicone in it. It feels more velvety than those. So actually, I'm gonna save that for later. No, I'm gonna put it on now. I'm gonna go into the Poreless Face Primer. And this is just gonna go on our cheeks. So a little bit here, and a little bit here. I think you put it all over. Across skin. But it's a blurring primer. So might as well just do what it says and just put the other blurring primers where they need to be. So, and this has the silicone smell. It's supposed to be a semi-matte, but with the putty primer I'm gonna use as well. I know this is too much, but as long as I really clean my face tonight, it shouldn't be a problem. And I'm letting everything sit and pretty much dry down before going into the next thing. So it's pretty much not gonna get too much. Then I'm going into the Velvet Finish. See, this doesn't feel like a silicone primer. I don't know. it has dimethicone in it, which is a silicone. Silicone that's usually used in smoothing primers. So. Alright. Now, last blurring primer. Then we can go on to other primers and then on to my color correctors. So the Poreless Putty Primer. This is the more solid one, so I'm going to need the applicator. Okay. So I'm going to pretty much spread this evenly with my fingers. First, ugh. Using the brush part to really blend it into the skin. Alright. And then I'll let that set again. I'm telling you, this is gonna get too much. This is starting to become too much. So I'm telling you, man. Alright. Oh crap, need a powder brush too. I think I'm gonna use this powder brush because I'm going to be setting everything first. Alright, now I'm going into the Matte Putty Primer. So this is going to be our mattifying, and the rest of the mattifying part to the face. Or to the T-zone, really. Okay. not really talked about this product this week. I love this product. Of course. I've started to notice my whole face gets oily easily. So, alright. So I'm gonna let that soak in. And then we'll go into our last primer. Oh, sorry. Now I'm going into the Luminous Putty Primer. I'm going to put this on my forehead, down the bridge of my nose, right here, and right here. Pretty much anywhere that I don't have large pores, because it's a straight up just glitter primer. It's just a luminous putty primer, like a luminous primer. So it's just can be too much. So I put it where I don't have large pores, because all that blurring work I just did. There's no point. Alright. So now I'm gonna let that soak in. And then we can start with the color correctors. So exciting. I wonder if I can use this one again. Alright. I'm going into the green corrector for redness first. I'm just gonna just go in there. I just like to make sure it's all blended. Really get in there for the redness. And I have a little bit that I need to cover here, right here. so covered. I'll probably clean my brushes on Sunday since I'm not doing another tutorial until next week. So now I'm going into the yellow corrector. And here. Oops. There. There. Okay. Alright, now I'm going into the e.l.f. Putty Color Corrector Eye Brightener. In the shade Fair. Blending it out with the brush. So now I'm going to take a powder brush. And I'm going to take the e.l.f. Perfect Finish HD powder. Like I said, we're using a, why am I doing that when this has a mirror too? So there's no really baking today. It's all brushwork. Alright. What?
Your way you can hurry. Can I hold that for a minute?
Sorry about that. Alright. So, I decided I'm going to contour and bronze. So now I'm going into my e.l.f. contour wand in the shade Fairlight. Here and here. Here and here. And I just hate how messy. So I'm going to take my fingers. No, I'm not. I'm going to let that marinate. And then I'm gonna take my contouring brush. I should probably get my sponge ready first. I feel like and then alrighty. So really quickly, while I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna go ahead and do my concealer, which is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. So I'm putting it here and there, here and there. I'm going to put it here and here and here and here to put that facelift. Oh, crap. And there. And I'll just blend it with my fingers. Alright. So we're gonna let that all marinate. I can go ahead and blend out the contour. Snatched. And then there we go. Gross. And then taking my brush, we're going to and then kind of just blend this around the nose. And then kind of on top of the bottom of the contour, which is why I should have just did my concealer first. To instantly snatch the face. But because my face is going all different directions, I was born with it. It's hard. Alright. So now I'm going into my Deluxe crease brush with the Putty Bronzer and Sunkissed. Go under the jawline, not on the jawline. because it will make it look like you have a beard. We don't talk about what just happened on that one. You didn't see me jump. And I have such a small face. So this is actually too much for a small face. Like, all the makeup I use is too much, but I do it for reviews. And then you can blend it into the jawline. Ugh, my collarbone. This is like so annoying. Then this up into the hairline. But like I said, this is all for reviews. Alright, so this is going to be the tricky part, because I'm using two different blushes. So I think I'm going to put this underneath and just a little bit of the matte on top. So this is the Luminous Putty Blush. Maybe. I'm going to take this little brush here. I'm going to stipple it so it's not as much product. Okay, I was wrong. That is not patchy at all. I don't know what the heck was going on with my makeup last week. Like, what the heck? That is not as patchy as it was last week. I think I used too much product. I think that's what that was. Of course, I'm blending it out with the sponge. I think I used too much product last week. I think that's what that was about when it was patchy last week. But you learn from your mistakes. So then I'm going into just a little bit more, doing the same thing. Dang it. Make sure it's even throughout the bristles. Blush. Like, that looks good. Like it is. I don't think I need the other one. I'm still doing the other one, but I don't need it. And my face looks so pale right now. I don't know what the heck is going on, but it looks so pale right now. Of course, we're blending with the sponge. But yeah, that's not as patchy as it was last week, so I'm gonna say I just used too much product, so that was user error, not the formula itself. Yeah, it looks pretty darn even. So now I'm gonna take the wipe I got and wipe off the the blush is excess. Then we're going to go into a little bit of the matte putty blush on top. Whoa, that made a really pretty pink color. It's so pretty. And I think I still got, but it's so pretty. That color is so pretty. So, and so I don't look like a clown. And we use a little bit of highlighter to tone down that blush a little bit. And then also highlight in here. Highlight in there. Okay. Alright. It just kind of covered up the border. This is so pretty. So good. All right. So brushes can go over with my hair stuff. Oh, this was taking forever. Okay. So just take my sponge one more time. Just over the highlighter. Okay. So I got that. Alright. Next, going into the e.l.f. Soft Glam Satin Foundation, which I'm going to need more of soon. And making sure I don't think I need a sponge for foundation anymore. Like, I'm telling you, it's getting to the point where now I gotta start using other makeup. Because I can just brush it into my hairline with my brush. Now I just need a little bit more. Just like that. I'm using the back mirror, the mirror behind me, more often. Just so I can just. Perfect. All right. All right. So I'm gonna use my sponge to make sure there's no creasing underneath the eyes. All right. So now I'm gonna take my setting brush all right. So yesterday was the bestseller look, so that's why today's video is different than yesterday's video and why it's not as long. This is a nice setting powder. Picks up some of the excess. All right. See how long everything lasts. Just a pressed powder. All right. I'm not going to be able to use everything. So the lip lacquer and the lip plumping gloss I'm not going to be able to use this week. Just because I'm using the glossy lip stain. So I'm just going to put a little bit of the No Budge shadow stick. And we might be able to. Alright, so I'm going to take my blush brush here. And it seems like the more closer to hitting pan I get for the blush, the more pigmented it's becoming. So, I don't know. I don't know about that one. But it still looks cute. Didn't use all my brushes today, but we used some of them. I'm going to use this blending brush to blend. Alright, now the e.l.f. Glossy Lip Stain. It takes a minute for it to dry. So I'm gonna use a little bit. And a little bit of the lip plumping gloss on the other side. Okay. So I'm thinking it was the lip liner that did it last time. So now I'm going into the e.l.f. Stay On Night Microfine Setting Mist. The plumping side is starting to work. So my lips are gonna look a little weird. So might as well just add the plumping gloss. All over. Ooh, it has a sweet scent. Didn't notice that before. Yeah, it's not pilling or anything, so it was the lip liner. So you don't use the lip liner with the glossy lip stain. So here's the final look. I'll see you guys later. Bye.